Welcome back to Rubbin Minds. Unfortunately, the medical professional who's meant to be here is unavoidably absent, so we'll have to take the issue of the suicide probably next week because we wanted to get a professional angle. But in the place of that, we have the co-founder of Scholar X, Bola Lawal. How are you doing, Bola Lawal?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Great to have you on board.
Thank you.
Looking very sharp. Happy Mother's Day. This is the time we give, just give a shout out to the mothers out there.
I want to shout out to my mom.
Mom, I made it.
I want to shout out to Stevie and my wife, hopefully one day.
Hopefully one day. So, well, let's put that aside. What have you been up to? What's Scholar X all about?
So Scholar X is seen as a bridge to help young people, put young people on one side, opportunities on the other side, right? So we are trying to connect them with opportunities, especially scholarship, access to quality education, to study locally or to study abroad. So we launched July 2006, this is 2016, and since then we've been working very hard to make sure that we help as many young people as possible. On the platform, on the mobile and web app combined, we have about 10,000 users that can easily search and access scholarships to apply for. And we also assist them through the process of application and different application requirements.
And this has been how long now?
Since July last year.
Okay, well, the reason we have you here is the issue of the grass being greener on the other side. People travel for different reasons, primarily to escape maybe not a not so good situation here in the country, some of them for a better life, some education, and whatever the case. But generally speaking, young Nigerians tend to believe that the solution to their problem is to leave. What's, based on your experience, is that actually the solution?
So, not necessarily. The way I say it is, what is your goal, right? I'm an impact-minded person, right? I feel like wherever I go, wherever I'm at, I should be able to make impact. You may go overseas, right, and opportunities are out there freely, not freely, but you have to work towards it. And some people may see sending money home as impact, right? I don't see that as an impact. I see it as, if I get out there, it's a little bit limited, for example, to be able to impact the society the way you want, just because you're in the minority wherever you may be, and certain things you may not be able to do. So I'm always of that mindset that, I left my place, I went somewhere else. Home is always where I can create.
You're based in the U.S., right?
I'm based in the U.S.
You lived here as well?
I grew up in Surulere and then spent some time in Ikorodu. I was born in the U.S., but my parents moved back when I was 2 years old. Back then, when a lot of our parents went to study in the U.S. and UK, it was a very good trend that they usually come back home because the economy was good. The dollar to naira was almost equal. People came home a lot, so a lot of our parents, came back with us when we were small. And I grew up here in Nigeria. Only moved back to the U.S. about 15 years ago. Only 15 years ago.
Now you've seen both sides of the divide, and based on the number of students that cross over, do you think there's anything particularly special about those who come from Nigeria and go outside the country? Do you feel they're better equipped to deal with the issues abroad?
Okay, I'll give you a little story. When I first moved to the US and started school, I got into the computer lab and I was about to check in, and the guy said, go ahead, and I was like, you're not going to charge? He said, no, it's free. But my point is access to facilities, resources, and all those things are free and fair out there, a little bit easier to access. So when you have someone that is hungry and passionate, that goes out there and says, I can do this, I can do that, oh, this is good. But what I always like to tell people is, you get that opportunity out there, you learn a lot of different things. How can we come back home?
Bring it home.
Bring it home. And because the true impact is when you're able to impact other people around you, and then there's a multiplier effect.
What's the role of education in this? You have people who might not necessarily have been gone through the system here. They get over there, no certificate, nothing. They just have the shared desire to want to live and succeed. Compared to those who do go to school or who were educated, what do you think it's actually a limiting factor sometimes when there's too much book?
Well, let's look at it from this way. Education is actually, there's formal education and informal education. So at the end of the day, it's what the person is on an individual level. You could go out there and not have a formal education, university education, or not have a desire to do that, but maybe you want to learn a skill or some other things, and you could get a good job. Now, you may be a little bit limited in terms of someone with a 4-year degree or a master's degree that can do multiple careers and can get access to a lot of opportunities. I'll take an example. Look at doctors based in Nigeria versus doctors in the U.S. You know, in terms of salary and opportunity.
Oh, I even have an uncle, so I know how well things are.
So
you almost want to switch your career path.
So it's not the same. But so look, for doctors, for example, they're striking, they're not getting paid well, and then it's like rose and petals all over when they go abroad. And you know, if they get to be able to do the USMLE exam, they do the board exam, they get to work, they live a good life. But my whole idea is, you know, if all that is rosy out there, what are you impacting and what are you changing? And that's my whole idea. When you ask me, is the grass greener? Depends on what your goal is. But for someone that wants to make impact, it may not necessarily be because, okay, you get a job, you're making money, Monday to Friday, weekend, repeat, rinse, repeat. What are you really creating? What are you really impacting? Where the impact lies is coming back home. And so...
But when you come, I mean, we both, I'm sure we know friends, we know people watching know people who, once they cross over, it's very difficult for them to come back home. Some want to come back home, but the environment is not enabling just yet. What advice would you give someone who wants to come back home with the reality that, okay, the light is not always there, there's not always water, and all these other issues?
So one of the things I may advise, there was an article I contributed to a couple of weeks ago, and when they asked me the same question, I said, start from where you are. You know, there are a lot of the internet technology has turned the globe into
it's a global village now.
It's a global village now, really. So start from where you are. There's some certain things that you can do.